All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and today we're going to be looking at AI music. And this is something that I think a lot of people are talking about these days. There's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, but also a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, kind of anxiety and concern. So we thought it would be a good time to kind
Uh-huh.
of dive into this topic, and we're going to be using our trusty Wikipedia article here on Suno AI as our sort of jumping off point. And and this is a company that's been making a lot of headlines lately.
Yeah.
And for good reason, I think. It's some really fascinating technology they're developing. So, why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's so fascinating is it's not some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. This
Yeah.
is something that's actually happening right now. Suno AI is out there. It's
Wow.
creating music,
I
it's
like that.
raising all sorts of really interesting questions about creativity and copyright and even like what it means to be an artist in this new age of AI. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a really rich topic.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess maybe just to start off, for anyone who's maybe not super familiar with Suno AI, can you just give us like a quick elevator pitch? Like, what is it? What does it do?
Sure. So basically, Suno AI is an AI music generator.
Okay.
It can create original songs with vocals and instrumentals, or you can just get instrumental tracks if you prefer. And the way it works is you give it a text prompt. It could be anything you know, a description of the mood you're going for, a particular genre you like, the name of an artist you want it to sound like. And then Suno AI takes that prompt and uses its AI magic to generate a song based on that.
So it's like having a little personal composer in your computer. You just tell what you want and it whips something up for you.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the day, if you wanted to make music, you had to like learn an instrument
Yeah.
or spend hours messing around with like GarageBand or something. But this makes it so much more accessible to anyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the big things about Suno AI is its accessibility. I mean, they launched a web app back in December of 2023. So anyone with an internet connection could start using it. And then they even teamed up with Microsoft to make it a plugin for Copilot. So it's integrated right into people's workflows. And then just a few months ago, they released a mobile app as well. So now you can create music on your phone. It's really becoming incredibly accessible, which is a huge part of why it's making such big waves.
Yeah, it's kind of democratizing music creation in a way, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
anyone can be a composer now.
Exactly.
But of course, with any new technology that disrupts things, there's always pushback.
Right.
And we've seen some of that with Suno AI too, especially from the music industry. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in June of this year, the Recording Industry Association of America, or the RIA as they're better known, filed a pretty major lawsuit against Suno, and actually another AI music platform called Udio as well.
Oh, wow. So they're going after the whole AI music scene, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So what's their main argument? Why are they so against AI music?
Well, their main argument is about copyright. They're claiming that Suno and Udio are training their AI on copyrighted music without permission. So basically, they're saying that these AI music platforms are infringing on the rights of human artists and composers by using their work to create new songs.
So it's kind of like if I took all your favorite recipes and fed them into an AI and then published a new cookbook based on that. You might not be too happy about that, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I mean, it raises a lot of questions about ownership and intellectual property. And the RIAA is basically arguing that these AI music platforms are profiting off the work of human artists without fairly compensating them.
And they're not messing around either. I mean, this lawsuit is serious business.
Yeah, absolutely. The RIAA is seeking up to $150,000 per infringed work. So potentially we're talking millions of dollars in damages here. They're really going all out to try and stop AI music platforms from using copyrighted material.
Wow, so it's kind of a wild situation, right? On the one hand, we have this amazing technology that can create music from thin air practically. It's becoming more and more accessible. It's opening up all these creative possibilities. But then on the other hand, we have this huge legal challenge that could potentially shut it all down.
Yeah, it's a really interesting tension, and it brings up a lot of bigger questions too. Like, is AI music a threat to human artists? Or is it a new tool for collaboration and expression? It's something that I think we all need to be thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of thinking, remember that crazy fact I mentioned earlier about the Suno AI generating a whole sad girl ballad out of the MIT license?
Oh, yeah, that was wild.
It just goes to show you the kind of unexpected creativity
Yeah.
that AI is capable of. Like, who would have thought that a dry legal document could be the inspiration for a piece of music?
Right. It's pretty mind-blowing.
So how does it even work? Like, how does Suno AI actually make music? What's the magic behind the curtain?
Well, at its core, Suno uses something called a deep neural network. It's a type of artificial intelligence that's been trained on this massive data set of music and lyrics. I'm talking terabytes of data. And this training allows it to basically learn the patterns of music, to understand different genres and styles, and even like the nuances of human emotion in music.
So it's not just like randomly throwing notes together.
No, it's actually learning the language of music, kind of like how we learn to speak a new language.
That's so cool. So in a way, it's kind of like a...
Yeah, like a superpowered composer with access to, all of human musical knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
It's pretty mind-blowing and a little bit scary at the same time, right?
Definitely a little bit of both.
Like it's exciting, but also kind of makes you wonder,
yeah,
what are the implications of this?
And this MIT license ballad.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect example of that because it shows you how AI can be this really powerful creative force.
I mean, it's really weird, right? Like, how does an AI find inspiration in a legal document? It's not exactly the most poetic source material.
Right, like it's not Shakespeare.
No, it's like the opposite of Shakespeare.
But that's what's so fascinating about it, is that we tend to think of creativity as this uniquely human thing, something that requires emotion and experience. And then AI comes along and creates something beautiful and moving out of something completely unexpected. And it really challenges our whole idea of what it means to be creative.
Yeah, it's like AI is saying, hey, humans, maybe you don't have the monopoly on creativity after all.
Right, exactly.
And the fact that it went viral, what people were sharing it. They were reacting to it emotionally, having conversations about it.
Yeah.
It shows that people are connecting with this AI music on a real level.
Yeah, it's not just some gimmick. It's something that can actually move people, inspire them, make them think differently about the world.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important because, for a lot of people, the idea of AI creating art is still pretty abstract.
But then when you hear something like the MIT license ballad, and it actually makes you feel something, it suddenly becomes a lot more real.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
And it brings up even more questions, right? Like, if AI can create music that evokes emotion in humans, does that mean it understands human emotion? Does it feel anything when it's creating this music? Or is it just mimicking patterns that it's learned from data?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It's like the ultimate question.
The million-dollar question. And it's something that, philosophers and scientists are going to be debating for years to come, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless of where you stand on that whole AI sentience debate, there's no denying that this is blurring the lines between human and machine creativity.
For sure. And if AI can find beauty in legal jargon, who knows what else is out there? What other unexpected sources of inspiration are just waiting to be tapped into? Right. That's what I find so exciting about this whole thing. It's like we're standing on the edge of this vast, uncharted territory of creative possibilities, and AI is giving us the tools to explore it.
It's like we have this whole new set of colors to paint with. Who knows what kind of masterpieces we'll be able to create.
Exactly.
So it's pretty exciting stuff.
It is really exciting.
So what's next for AI music? Like, where do you see this going in the future?
Well, I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine AI composing entire film scores or creating personalized soundtracks for your life. Music that adapts to your mood in real time.
Whoa.
It's mind-blowing.
That's pretty wild.
And I think that's what makes this whole topic so captivating, is that we're witnessing the birth of this new era of music. And it's one where the line between human and machine is becoming increasingly blurred.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process.
We've gone from like the basics of what Suno AI is to talking about these huge legal battles to like philosophical debates about the nature of creativity, all in the span of like 20 minutes.
Right.
It's a lot.
And we haven't even touched on the potential impact on the music industry itself. Like what happens to human musicians and composers when AI can create music that's just as good, if not better, than anything a human can produce.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I think it's a question that we need to address. So why don't we shift gears a little bit and talk about the real world implications of all this? Like, what does the rise of AI music actually mean for the future of the music industry?
It's a tough one for sure, because on the one hand, you have this potential for all this amazing new music, like new sounds genres even, stuff that we can't even imagine yet. But then there's that worry about human musicians getting pushed out, especially when you bring in the whole economic side of things.
Yeah, because if an AI can pump out hits, like 204/7, why would a record label bother with a real artist, all the
Yeah.
costs and the drama and everything.
Right. It's a valid concern. I think the industry is really grappling with this right now.
We've seen technology disrupt industries before.
Yeah.
Think about like what streaming did to CDs. But this feels different. It feels like a much bigger, more fundamental shift.
It is, yeah. Because AI is not just changing how music is distributed, it's changing how it's actually made, which, has implications for everybody, the artists, the songwriters, the producers, the engineers. It's a whole ecosystem.
So if you're a musician, you're a songwriter, you're hearing all this buzz about AI, what's going through your head?
Fear, I'd say. Definitely a lot of fear. That fear of being replaced, becoming obsolete.
Right.
But I think there's also curiosity.
Hmm.
There's always been this resistance to new tech in music.
Like electric guitars back in the day.
Exact.
Chord synthesizer.
Right, and eventually those tools get integrated. They become part of the creative landscape.
So maybe AI music could be a tool, not a replacement.
Yeah.
Like a collaboration.
Yeah.
An artist working with an AI.
Exactly, yeah.
To create something totally new.
Like AI as a songwriting partner,
Yeah.
helping with ideas, experimenting with different sounds, maybe even helping to break through writer's block or something.
It's like having a brainstorming buddy that never gets tired.
Exactly.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
Well, music has always been about pushing boundaries, exploring new possibilities, and AI just gives us a whole new set of tools to do that.
Who knows? Maybe this human-machine collaboration could lead to like a whole new golden age of music.
That would be amazing.
But of course, there's always going to be challenges.
Of course.
We talked about the legal stuff.
Yeah.
And then there are the ethical questions too.
Yeah.
Like who owns the rights to AI-generated music? What about bias in the algorithms?
Right. Those are all really important questions. And I think we need to have those conversations, not just within the music industry, but as a society, because AI is going to touch pretty much every aspect of our lives.
It's like we're writing the rule book for this whole new world where AI is a major player.
Yeah. And we need to make sure those rules are fair, that they protect creativity, and that they benefit everybody, not just a select few.
Well said.
It's a big task. But it's also pretty exciting. We're at the forefront of something truly transformative. And it's up to us to shape it in a way that benefits humanity.
So to wrap up our deep dive here, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away?
I think just keep an open mind. AI music is here. It's going to change things. Embrace the possibilities. Don't shy away from the challenges. And most importantly, keep listening, keep exploring, and keep asking questions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us. We hope you learned something new today, maybe even changed your perspective a little bit. And hey, maybe you'll be the one to create the next groundbreaking AI music masterpiece.
Yeah,
But you know what's